Alrighty. Thank you for meeting with me this afternoon, Guerrero. How are you doing?
Good,
Good. It was great to finally be in your classroom today for the first time this year for our first spot. And I know last year we set a goal of using strong voice and setting clear routines and procedures. And I noticed how you reinforced those strong routines and procedures by maintaining a really strong voice and a strong presence. So I'm wondering, what do you think has made that successful for you this year?
I think just this year I came with the mindset of I want to get my kids to a certain goal. I want to make them feel like they are comfortable in my class and comfortable in learning math just in general. So I need to set nice and clear expectations and hold every kid accountable.
And so what I'm hearing you say is you came in with really strong goals, so you want to set those clear expectations to hold every kid accountable.
Yes.
And so what has been the impact of reinforcing those strong routines and procedures with strong voice to hold them accountable? What has been the impact so far this year?
I see students just participating more willing to do the work. It's like they try to I tell them don't slack. Like they try to set back for a second. I'm like, no, we need to work. We need to do this. And I kind of see them moving towards being more motivated too. Like they know the expectations they're going to come in and they're going to work.
Absolutely. So I want us to make sure that we're updating our coaching tracker for every time that we meet. So take a moment to go ahead. We said that for your praise, you had some great strong voice, and you used it to reinforce really clear routines and procedures, hold kids to high expectations. And I'm wondering, do you think that there's anything else that you did today that went really well in your lesson? There definitely were. I want you to identify some as well, some things that went well.
Some things that went well were, I think I really like the fact that I'm trying to implement labs because I know what they are, but just the implementation piece is the one I'm still trying to figure out. So I'm glad that I got to implement some labs and kind of starting to adjust them and make them more like my own and make it more natural, as I say.
I want to agree with you there. I definitely think it was great. Your aggressive monitoring labs were in small group, and you did a great job providing your kids with feedback by using that coding system on their work. So definitely make sure to add that in there. And also, the wrapping text. We forgot to do that, so that way. Yeah, just to make sure. I know it's annoying when it goes in the other cell. So your aggressive monitoring labs went really well? Is there anything else you think went really well today?
I like just the fact that I was able to really aim to do stations because I've kind of been trying to do stations, trying to find it work, and I just told myself I need to do them, I need to do well, and I need to get feedback to see how I can make them better.
Absolutely. Honestly, that was another piece of praise. You had a small group and then independent and collaborative tasks, and everything that was at the independent and collaborative task was really purposeful. The alignment was there, and it made a really big difference. So now I want us to focus on kind of something that you just brought in and narrow that focus into holding students accountable at the other blended learning station rotations, because that's something that I know that you've said that you want to make better, and then also enhancing small groups. So I want to dive into blended learning stations accountability. So I'm curious, what are the keys and criteria for success for a successful small group? What makes a small group successful?
For small group, I would say making sure all the students are following along, making sure their paper looks like my paper and they're asking questions along the way.
So I'm hearing you say you and them following along, board equals paper. So I also want you to think, what is it that you want to see and hear in the small group? Who do you want holding that cognitive demand?
I want to see the students also holding and discussing and be able to tell me why. Like if I ask them a question, they should be able to tell me why, or they should be able to have that time also to discuss.
So what I'm hearing you say is, like, to even go beyond that, you want students holding that cognitive demand, them explaining why, and them holding the discourse. Absolutely. And then from there, what are the keys or criteria for success in the collaborative and independent groups? What do we want to see and hear in the collaborative group and in the independent group?
In collaborative, I want to see students really engaged in the work in the sense that they're even having, if they have disagreements on an answer, they'll be able to prove and be able to say like, no, this is the answer because of this. So be able to kind of back up and prove their answer.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them just joining in and really discussing and showing their work, especially because I know collaborative can be shaky with work showing.
Mm-hmm. And then independent, what would you want to see and hear there?
In independent, I want to see students working diligently in level 0, making sure they're actually working out the problems, and that's why I try to aim for is giving them the problems printed out so they can follow along and take notes, and if they saw something was incorrect, they'd be able to go ahead and correct it on their paper.
Absolutely. Definitely true. So I want you to be thinking about this piece, how you held them accountable for their thinking through aggressive monitoring. How do you think that you could hold kids accountable for those high expectations that you just said you want to have at the collaborative and independent group? What could you do? Just be thinking of that.
Collaborative and independent.
Mm-hmm.
For independent, I think that whenever I get a chance to, every time I get a chance to break away from small group to of course visit them both. But for independent, I would say, even during aggressive monitoring, like if I see them showing their work, I can give them a check or a star, like
So
if they're showing other steps.
AGMA, and it could honestly work at the collaborative group as well, because if you see somebody doing something right in collaborative, somebody not doing it right, it enforces
Can
that
enforce.
collaboration. So I want you to keep that in mind right now. And the next thing that I'm going to have you do is look at 2.4, cognitive demand. I'm going to give you a moment to, because now that you've told me what you want to see at small group, collaborative, independent, and I want you to go ahead and read what would proficient be in 2.4 cognitive demand. What are that criteria? And then you're going to actually watch a mini clip of your lesson today, so that way you can compare it to the things that you said you want to see and hear, and then what is considered proficient or above. So I'm going to give you about a minute to just go ahead and read over what creates proficient or above. If there's anything that really sticks out to you, let me know.
Uses a variety higher order questions and suggestions that push students beyond initial thinking.
Higher order thinking questions beyond initial thoughts. For sure. So now we're going to take a moment to have you watch a portion of your video and compare it to the rubric and what you told me about small group and collaborative group.